Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining our webinar. We'll go ahead and get started in just about a minute while we wait for attendees to arrive. For those of you just arriving, we're just going to give it about another minute before we get started while we wait for attendees to arrive. If you wouldn't mind, if you can hear me okay, can you raise your hand on the GoToWebinar panel? I'd appreciate it. All right. Thank you, Alec. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Rachel. All right, perfect. All right, I'm going to jump in. We have a lot to review today. Today we're going to talk about how to sell more engagement rings with digital marketing. And there's a lot of details here, but some of the things I'm going to spend a lot of time on, the things that I believe are more important because we're in this game and we see kind of what works and what doesn't. So I'll give you some tips on all different aspects of selling more engagement rings with digital marketing. Some of it I'm going to run through quickly, some of it I'll take longer on. If you're not familiar with GemFind, we've been around for over 20 years. I've been with GemFind for 15 years. I'm Anthony Archiga, the VP of Sales and Marketing. We do these webinars every month, the second Thursday of every month for Edge. We're partnered with Edge, and we help Edge customers connect their point of sale system with their websites, so your website can have a true omni-channel experience. Shopping is just different today than it was, especially since COVID. It's just kind of expedited, where users are looking for the easiest way to purchase jewelry, and so they might go into a store and see what they like there and then go and purchase it online, or they might go on your website to browse what you have, purchase it online, then pick it up in store, that kind of thing. That's why we really love that integration with Edge. We also have a lot of other tools and apps, and we really help jewelers with a digital marketing strategy to help you grow your business. So we look at ourselves and consider ourselves a growth partner for your jewelry store. A couple of our team members here at JCK will also be attending this year, actually the same group of people, I believe. So, if you'd like to schedule an appointment, I'll put our contact info at the end of this webinar. Again, I'm Anthony Archiga. Again, thank you so much for joining today. We're going to talk about the foundation, first of all, of how you can sell more engagement rings online. First part will be SEO. Second part will be social media. We'll talk about the different types of paid advertising that can be effective and how to make it effective. We'll talk about marketing automation and how that will really set you apart. And then inbound marketing, which can really give you the foundation for your overall strategy. And then we'll open it up for a Q&A in case anyone has any questions. Feel free to type in questions throughout, and I'll see if I can jump into them if they're relevant to what I'm reviewing, or you can also use the chat as well. I was going to just kind of talk about some statistics real quick, just for your insight, as I just wanted to research what's going on with the engagement ring market. As some of you know, the engagement ring market is a little bit down this year, so we'll talk a little bit about that. The average price of an engagement ring in the US is about $5,900. 85% of brides receive a diamond engagement ring in their proposals, so still the number one center stone. About 58% of engagement rings purchased are round diamonds, so definitely by far the most popular cut. The engagement ring market in the U.S. was worth approximately $7.6 billion in 2022, so still a huge market, even though there's been less people getting engaged since COVID. And we'll talk a little bit about why. There's a report that was done recently about, or an article about that I'll kind of talk about here in just a minute. The average length of time couples date before getting engaged is 4.9 years. 66% of people responded to a survey that they would be open to receiving a pre-owned or heirloom diamond engagement ring, so something to keep in mind. Engagement ring sales, again, are down since COVID. So Signet, obviously we know Signet in this space. They own Zales, Jared K, Diamonds Direct now. I think they purchased James Allen or Blue Nile. I can't remember the other one, but definitely one of the largest retailers in this, in the world. But they said a lot of early relationships faded as lockdowns began in the winter and spring of 2020, only to be followed by a dramatic decline in dating. So that's one of the reasons why we've seen a slowdown in engagement ring sales. The category will need to grow approximately 25% by calendar year 2026 just to return to prior engagement levels. So, but the good news is people are getting back out after the lockdowns. We monitored the return of dating. Dating, in fact, is up 8% to pre-COVID. So, hopefully there will be a rebound. But the one thing that I like to point out, and Edge Retail Academy also talks about this, is like, this is now the time to really double down on your marketing efforts. So like you can, offset any kind of slowdown, and then that can help position you once it bounces back to be in a really good spot. So a couple other things. This is all from a survey that was done a few months ago. So this is based on purchases done or a survey done with 2,000 people that purchased engagement rings. So 35% surprise it was a surprise when they got their engagement ring. 29% of couples chose their ring together. 25% discussed the ring beforehand. 29% chose together, but guy purchased on his own. 25% discussed beforehand. 9.4% bought the ring together. So just some insights. You guys probably know this, having a jewelry store. So how many retailers did you look at before buying an engagement ring? So this is important for how we're going to market to engagement ring shoppers. So 28% said just one, but the largest segment, 2 to 4 retailers. So that's a really big takeaway. That's the biggest segment, is most people shop around. So how do we make sure that they purchase from you? 21% went to 5 to 7 retailers. So again, the bulk of the purchasers are talking to many retailers before making a purchase or deciding on what to buy. What type of retailer did they purchase from? 31% said a chain jeweler, 27% said an independent, which I believe most on this webinar, most likely independent jewelry stores. So good news there. We just need to educate them more to not buy from chain jewelers. Online, 11%, luxury jeweler, 7%, vintage, etc., as you can see here. But the biggest segments are the chain jeweler and the independents, which is great. So how much did your engagement ring cost? This was, again, a survey. So they responded with an average of $5,200 according to a survey of these 2,000 respondents. What style is your engagement ring setting? Solitaire still number one, followed by halo, 3-stone, channel, pave, bezel, etc. What is your engagement ring center stone? Still by far diamond, 82%. And we've got others like sapphire, emerald, ruby, but really nothing compares to this diamond center stone. What shape is your center stone? Round, still the number one shape, 61%, followed by a princess cut, and then cushion cut is still popular. So some again insights, interesting insights. What is the carat weight of your center stone? Most respondents answered about a carat. So that's the the most purchased size, or the biggest segment is purchasing about a 1 carat center stone. So I'm going to jump in now to how to sell more engagement rings. So number one is going to be a strong foundation with SEO. And why are we looking at SEO first? Because it's going to help all of your campaigns perform better, and everything perform better if you set yourself up for success with SEO. SEO today is all about page experience, and so we want to make sure that when you're doing SEO for your website, or search engine optimization, if you're not familiar with the term, we want to look at page relevance. So how relevant is that page according to what people were searching for? We want to make sure that your site loads quickly and that you have a really great mobile experience. So page experience encompasses all of those things. And one other reason why we look at search first too is because when somebody's typing in a keyword, they're showing that they have intent. They're showing they have interest in that product or service that you're offering. So there's typically higher conversion rates on search. It doesn't mean that we should neglect other avenues, because they all play a role in the nurturing and inbound marketing strategy that should be driving your engagement ring, selling experience or purchasing experience. So page experience, number one most important thing with SEO. So we'll talk about how that applies. So you want to optimize your website according to what users are searching for on Google. So what's important to do is do some keyword research. This is a little blurry here, but so you can use a couple tools. Google Keyword Planner is a great tool to use, where you can see how many people are searching for different keywords. Engagement rings, the broad term, is the most searched term. So what you can do is localize that term, like engagement rings New York, engagement rings Los Angeles, or wherever you're located, and localize that keyword. You should also be looking at more long tail terms that have a lot of searches that don't have a lot of keyword difficulty. Ultimately, this is kind of hard to read as well, but this is a tool called SEMrush, which I recommend if you're going to be doing SEO and you, again, want to sell more engagement rings. It's important to do keyword research. And what this report does, even though it's hard to read, is it gives you keyword ideas, and it'll tell you the keyword difficulty percentage. So there's a column here that says KD percentage. So keyword difficulty means how difficult is it to get ranked on that specific keyword. And there's multiple factors which makes something more difficult than others. Typically, it's like there's so many people trying to optimize for that keyword, so that makes it difficult. And so what you want to do is make sure that you're creating a dedicated page for that keyword, which again, I'll show you some examples of here in just a minute. Once you determine which keywords that you want to optimize for. So for example, this would be for someone that wants to get engagement ring shoppers globally, or across the country. But this keyword, it's hard to read, but moss agate engagement ring. There's 12,000 searches for it per month, and a keyword difficulty percentage of a 27 out of 100, while engagement rings is like a 95% keyword difficulty percentage. So it's as difficult as it could possibly get on that broad keyword. So again, looking at these types of reports to determine what keywords to target. So once you figure out which keywords make sense for your business and your market, then now you start building pages. And so again, I'll show you some examples of that here in just a minute. So you want to create a dedicated page for every single search query or keyword. And that's best for search engines and best for user experience, because when there's a page that's specific to what somebody was searching for in a search engine, then that's going to have a more relevant experience according to, again, what that person was searching for. You also want to make sure that you incorporate hub and spoke content structure. So you create a landing page that's optimized for that keyword, which again, I'll show you an example here in just a minute. And then you create different spokes going to that page, meaning links from other pages on your website going back to that page, links from other websites going back to that page. And that's how you build an SEO strategy is you build page authority and which ultimately increases your domain authority. So on that keyword difficulty percentage, the better your domain authority is, the easier it is for you to get ranked. The better your page authority is, the more likely that page is going to get ranked on the search engines. So SEO is really important for selling engagement rings. So if you're not really, you know, focusing on search engine optimization, you're really kind of missing the boat on selling more engagement rings, because most people, when they're doing research, they're going on search engines because they're typing it in. That's how they can do research. So I'll show you some other examples of how we can make sure that we're showing up, and other ideas to make sure we're getting those shoppers. You want to make sure you're using quality content, 600 to 1,000 words per page. That's what Google's looking for, even up to 1,500 words. You also can write daily or weekly blogs, and I think I have an example of someone we're writing blogs for. I think we're writing about 10 blogs a month. A site that we launched last May, and they're already generating about 30,000 visits to their website just from the blogs that we write, because we're following that same type of keyword process where we're looking for topics that people are typing in, lower keyword difficulty, but a lot of searches. And so they're showing on the top on dozens and dozens of blogs and getting 30,000 visits per month that we're also able to retarget. We're also able to offer incentives to, like an ebook, and get them into our email funnel, which I'll talk about more here in just a minute. You also want to make sure you have product schema. So that means your products show up properly on the Google search results, especially for engagement rings. So ultimately, the way that Google will determine how a product shows up on Google is if it has product schema. A lot of websites do not have that, and it's also referred to as Google rich snippets. It's a way that it's called structured data. It's a way that your products will be viewed on the search results. So it'll show a price schema. It'll show a review schema on that page. It'll show, so essentially it looks like a product on the search results page. If you don't have product schema, it's just going to look like any other page. So it's important to incorporate that. It is built into platforms like Shopify. So if you're using that, great. So other platforms don't typically have it by default. You have to do some extra coding in order to make that happen. Let's see here. Peter was asking, what is the name of the site you're writing 10 blogs a month? They're called Luvari, Luvari. We're actually just doing a redesign, so their site's actually going to look a little different in about a week. So keyword clusters. So so this is a new thing with Google, is if you add multiple keywords to your site and multiple pages that have similar keywords. So like say, if we're ranking for engagement rings, then Halo engagement rings, solitaire engagement rings, whatever, black diamond engagement rings, lab grown diamond engagement ring, all these different keywords that all go together. So those keyword clusters help you rank your main page as well. So it's important to start incorporating these types of things and keeping your eye on what Google is looking for in order to give you the best rankings possible. You can optimize your collections, which I'll show an example of. And then you all want to build your domain authority, like I had mentioned. And then you can do some local SEO things like a Google Map API, get more reviews. That's super important, getting as many reviews as you can, which I know a lot of you are using Podium and ClientBook and things like that. So that's great. And then make sure you localize your SEO keywords you're going to have probably a lot higher conversion rate locally when somebody's buying an engagement ring, because it's such a large purchase. People do buy engagement rings online, as we know, but for a local jewelry store, if most of you are local jewelry stores here on this call, make sure that you localize those engagement ring keywords. You can also do broad ones too if you want to get kind of more global traffic as well. So this is an example of an engagement ring. And so an engagement ring landing page. So what I had mentioned is we want to do dedicated landing pages for every keyword. I'll pull this up. I'll exit this. Excuse me. this presentation here in just a minute so we can actually kind of look at the page a little bit closer. But when we built this landing page for them, in the most competitive market in the country, when I did a search for it, they showed up in the #1 position as soon as we started incorporating dedicated landing pages according to what people were searching for. Because when somebody's searching for that keyword and there's a page very specific to that experience, Google's going to say, oh, so people are staying on this page a long time. It actually has the information that Google's looking for, which is your title tag, your meta description, your H1, that all matches this exact keyword that people are typing in. So I'll show you a closer example. In LA, they're showing up in the 5th position, but the 3rd jeweler that shows up. So they have a boutique location in LA and one in New York. And so they're appearing near the top of the results in 2 of the most competitive markets in the country. This is an example of that landing page that we created for them. And so it's got the keyword here, engagement rings in Los Angeles. It's also in the title tag if I hover over the top. It's also in the URL, so engagement rings Los Angeles. And then if I scroll down the page, it's again a relevant page. It's got collections you can browse through that are all engagement ring related. It's got some one of a kind, ready to ship engagement rings. So everything's really helpful to the person that's shopping. You can shop by stone. You can see gemstone engagement rings. You can book an appointment. So if somebody's further down the funnel, they have that option. You can shop by shape. You can see some of the favorite items that are popular in that area, in that store. A lot of really relevant information to purchasing an engagement ring, and then a form that you can fill out at the bottom. So if somebody's wants to shop online, they can do so. But if they want to schedule an appointment, they can do so at either here or up in this area here. So this is really the proper structure. The only thing that I might add to this page would be blogs for those that people that are kind of in the earlier stage of their buyer's journey. So, but other than that, this page is perfect for a dedicated landing page for that search term. And again, the proof is in the pudding, like they're showing in the top positions on those keywords. The other thing you can do is optimize your collection pages. This is a jeweler we wanted to show up in Chicago, so we optimized for halo engagement rings in Chicago, and so we use the same strategy there. They have a title tag, URL structure, they have it in their H1, and then they have content on the bottom of the page that also links back to their main engagement rings landing page, which now they're showing up in the top position on this keyword, and they're also showing on the top position for engagement rings in Chicago now as well. So no, this is an example of the blog that I was mentioning. So again, we launched in May of 2022, and you can see how the traffic has just gone from 0 all the way up to 30,000 visits per month on this screenshot here. So blogging, if you're blogging about engagement rings, and again, every person is at a different stage of their buyer's journey when they're shopping for an engagement ring. The average engagement ring buying cycle is about 3.5 months. We have to consider that a lot of people are just in the research phase or the awareness phase of their buyer's journey. So it's really important to create a lot of relevant content that's going to be helpful to those people that are in the market for an engagement ring. So that's why blogging is so important. It's a way to get inbound traffic to your website for people that are, again, maybe not ready to purchase, but if you can, incentivize them to sign up for your email list, then you can potentially ensure they become your customer if you keep giving them quality information about what they're looking for. And again, we'll talk a little bit more about that when we go into inbound marketing. Foundation number 2, social media. What I usually tell clients is if you don't know, if you don't have a good strategy for your social media, you want to really make sure that you have your brand identity down in order to and go through kind of some exercises to really understand what your unique selling proposition is. and then create like a style guide, create a Pinterest board or something that is going to basically inform how you're going to be posting on your social media. So don't need to get too far into that, but you want to make sure that you understand your mission statement, your brand voice, brand values. When somebody can resonate with your brand more, you're going to have a lot better engagement. So like, if you explicitly say, this is who we are, this is what we represent, then you're going to probably attract more customers that are in line with your vision. So I think it's really important to understand your brand identity and come up with your mission statement and stuff like that, and work on your create a buyer persona, create your visual identity, your color palette, your logo, typography, mood boards, and then photography guidelines. So when you're planning out your social media strategy, you've got all of this stuff in place. But not going to spend too much more time here. So the most important things with social media is really having authentic content. So instead of reposting, and this is kind of a trap that a lot of jewelers fall into because they don't have the time or they don't like really see the value in creating authentic content, is they're just posting from one of their brands. They're reposting from Tacori or Simon G, and it's easy and it looks nice, but it doesn't typically get engagement and it doesn't build your social media following. But if you can create authentic content, meaning a ring on a finger or and I'll show some examples of this, then you're going to get a lot more people responding to your post because they feel this was created specifically and curated specifically for you. And now people can resonate more with those posts, not a post from somebody else. So they can really buy into your brand. You also want to make sure that you're doing short form video like Reels and TikTok. So that's the most discoverable content out there. So if you're not really participating in that, you're kind of missing really you're missing the boat right now, because that's where most of the engagement is happening and growth. You also want to make sure you engage with your followers, so commenting back on comments that they make, and that will actually make your post come up on the results a lot more if you're engaging with your actual followers on your post, reply to their messages, reply in their accounts, etc. And then also working with influencers is another option. So authentic content is all about highlighting what is unique about your store and product selection. You want to make sure you incorporate a mix of aspirational and accessible. You want to educate your audience and incorporate customer stories and user-generated content, testimonials, and user-generated content. So, for example, if somebody posted something about how great how happy they were with their engagement ring, or they posted their story about how they got engaged and they tag you in it, repost that. That's super valuable. You'll get more of that if you're providing education and value and you have your brand identity down. You'll get more of that kind of UGC because they see you're active, and they also are very thankful in the process that occurred when they made that purchase. So again, Instagram Reels and TikTok is the most discoverable content on social media right now. So really, recommend dipping into those, and you can give educational content or show some videos of rings on hands and stuff like that, which again, I'll show you some examples of here in just a minute. TikTok is another platform that could get you in front of the engagement ring generation with educational and short form videos. Kyle Morris, who did a social media webinar with myself and Rachel and a couple other team members. He built a TikTok following of I think 20,000 followers within a couple months, and all he really did was provide educational content about digital marketing. And he just basically created a bunch of videos in one day and then just scheduled them out, and he built that big of a following. So if you could be efficient with your time and do things like that to, again, some people think this is such a big undertaking. Just start with what you can, but make videos for each platform. Don't repost and stuff like that. So just something to keep in mind. Reels and TikTok are perceived as being essentially the same by 87% of Gen Z. Reels get 22 more interaction on Instagram than standard video postings. Reels have 2 billion monthly active users, which means all users are viewing Reels today. So it's, again, super important. So these are some examples of some video. I'm not going to press play on them, but if you'd like a copy of these slides, you can email me. I'm going to put my email information at the end, and there's some links that you can view. But these are just examples, real simple videos of like somebody opening up a jewelry box with an engagement ring inside, or somebody just, you know, showing an engagement ring in their fingers. You can see how this isn't like super professional. This didn't take them more than a couple minutes to put together per video. Another idea is doing some sketches of custom design. So if a lot of, I know a lot of jewelers are doing a lot of custom nowadays. So show some of the process of, you know, how to take you know, someone's idea to a sketch to a real live engagement ring. I think that's a pretty neat way to keep people engaged on your social media. These are some of the most common things that we see, is showing multiple different styles, or having people vote on the styles that they like the best in the comments. So like if you can try to you know, engage the audience and ask for their opinion on things, and you get a couple comments, say if you don't have any engagement now and you just start doing this, even if you just get one comment at first and then you just start doing it more and more and more, you're going to get more and more engagement. So these are some great ideas for posts, is like, you know, A, B, C, D, choose which one you like the best, cushion, emerald, round, oval, or just showing some rings on fingers, showing some diamonds, etc. All of those things are, you could see how much engagement all of these posts get in comparison to, you know, reposting, which again gets, you know, literally zero engagement. So really important to have this kind of content. And the reason why I wanted to talk about SEO and then social media, SEO is going to be your foundation for you know, how your website's going to be formatted, but also how good your campaigns will perform, in addition to how well your social media ads will perform. But social media is important because if somebody finds you from a search engine, they're going to go and follow you on your social media. But if there's no engagement happening, your conversion rate's going to be a lot lower. So if you're not growing your account and you're not posting valuable content, there's going to be a disconnect. They're going to be like, oh, well, maybe this jeweler isn't really providing a great service because it doesn't look like it according to their followers. So I think it's important to build that engagement. This is all part of your marketing strategy. So, but you can see also another important component to social media is like engagement stories, or, you know, again, user-generated content. If the person posted it, you can ask if they can repost, if you can repost it, and that's great content to be able to share. And you know, like I said, the engagement ring buying process is about 3.5 months. And so you're going to need to nurture them over the course of their buyer's journey. They're going to be looking at multiple different touch points of communication. They're going to be potentially texting you. They're going to be potentially emailing you. They're going to be looking at your website. They're going to be looking at your social media. So you got to make sure that everything is cohesive when you're doing your social media and your overall marketing strategy. Like I'd mentioned, engage with your followers, posts get a significant amount more visibility when the account is responding to comments. And then again, like I said, posting stories with the questions or polls periodically keeps your audience engaged with your account. You can use influencers for different reasons, and I'm not going to go through all of this, but you know, there's all different types of influencers. There's macro influencers, which are like more like celebrities, micro influencers, which are kind of like more local celebrities, or, you know, people with followings of like 10,000 plus followers. And then nowadays there's even nano influencers, which someone that might only have 1,000 or 2,000 followers, or even less potentially, where they can post about you, but they have some influence in their small group, and you can use, you know, 20 of those instead of just using a big macro influencer. So influencers are great for certain reasons, but showing new engagement ring styles and stuff like that. So paid advertising. So um, the most effective things for paid advertising is Google Ads. Again, because search, people are showing they have intent by typing in a keyword. Some of the best practices related to Google Ads is dedicated landing pages, like I had mentioned for SEO. It translates to Google Ads. You also want to make sure you separate campaigns by keyword. What we see a lot when we take over a Google Ads campaign, they have a campaign that has wedding rings and engagement rings and diamonds all in one campaign. Google gets confused, and you don't have the right landing pages for those campaigns that are associated with that keyword people are typing in. So you're going to get a lower quality score of your landing page and a lower optimization score. So those are two important things that you want to look at when you're doing Google Ads: is your quality score of your landing page and your optimization score. And then ultimately that's going to affect your search impression share. How much of a market share are you taking up on Google? We'll talk about that here in just a minute. I'll show you some examples on each of these things. Also, make sure you write effective ad copy, use all the extensions, which I'll have an example of, and then continuously optimize. That's really important. Is like you don't just set it and forget it. People might be typing in, there's different types of campaigns, but if you're using a campaign that has what you call broad match modified terms, where if somebody types in engagement rings, but they also type in cheap engagement rings, your ad could potentially pop up. So you want to make sure you negative out that keyword, and then you're also looking at what Google recommends to keep optimizing for that during that campaign. Okay. Timothy just asked, how can you use nano influencers? So usually the way that we've used nano or micro influencers in the past is a new product release. That's what we're going to be using it for here in a couple weeks with a product line that's launching. You can use it for just product promo kind of things. But if you want to have a deeper dive, there's a lot of uses for influencers, and there needs to be some type of campaign built around it that is going to be effective, that you can measure. So sometimes it has to do with an event, things that the community will get engaged about. Those are things that you want to use influencers for. So effective ad types for Google Ads: search campaigns. Those are your classic PPC. So when somebody's typing in a keyword, that keyword shows up. Local campaigns, and these basically got swallowed up by what you call Performance Max campaigns, but local campaigns would be, now again, Performance Max encompasses it, but you can show up on the top of the Google map, and then it's going to be all about getting people asking for driving directions. So local campaigns are good for when you want people that are looking for a service type of business, custom design, stuff like that. But search is going to get you more website traffic. So I'm bullish about search, shopping, and Performance Max encompasses some of those things as well. But with search, you're going to drive more website traffic, so you can get people into your marketing funnel, which is important. Performance Max is a new type of campaign that basically utilizes all the inventory from Google, and it'll place your ad that's where it's going to get the most engagement. So it might be on YouTube, it might be on a display ad, it might be on the Google Map ad, it might be in a shopping campaign, and it'll keep optimizing for what's going to perform the best. We're using one for an e-commerce brand right now that we're getting like a 1,600% return on ad spend for e-commerce sales after just about 2 weeks of running those campaigns. So they can be very effective if used properly and set up properly. So shopping campaigns, I think it's one of the most underutilized platforms for jewelers. Shopping can really be, you can find in-market audiences. People are actively shopping for jewelry, so you can do some more demographic type of targeting. because it shows in the display network. So if somebody's actively shopping on Blue Nile or Brilliant Earth James Allen, you can have an ad that says, why buy online when you can go to a local jewelry store and have a one-on-one type of experience, or whatever that ad copy could say. Dynamic ads, which I'll talk about more, that's dynamic retargeting. So if somebody clicks on your website, they go to a product, they keep seeing those products show up all over the internet. That's really, really important, which I'll talk about here in just a minute, related to marketing automation. Couple of things that I had mentioned is ad extensions. There's different types of ad extensions. There's product callouts, and then there's ad extensions like schedule an appointment, get in touch, register now, etc. And then on Acredo, you've got the product extensions. So these are all just not real ads, but these are types of extensions that you can add on, and that's what Google's looking for, is making sure that you're utilizing all the features of Google Ads. So if this is if you're not running Google Ads, this might be over your head, so I'm not going to spend too much time here. But and so when you separate out campaigns by keywords, so you can see each one of these are separate. Engagement rings is a separate campaign or ad group. Wedding rings, diamond rings are all separate. But when you separate it out, you can see how the bounce rate will be affected. So bounce rates typically are going to be anywhere from 30% to, I've seen up to 90% for certain things. So, but you can see how low the bounce rate is when you're separating it out by keyword and having a relevant landing page for each campaign. This is an example of quality score. So these are for diamond rings campaigns, but again, this applies to engagement rings, any kind of campaign, and engagement rings is the #1 most search term. So it's important to make sure that you set up your landing pages and get the best quality score, because if you have a good quality score, you can ultimately show up higher on the search results on the paid advertising than your competitors that are spending more than you. So you can't just outspend, you have to outsmart your competition. And so if you have 10 out of 10 quality score, in some cases we've went into an account and they had a 1 out of 10 quality score because they had no relevant landing page. And so this is how you set up your campaigns properly, is by having a relevant page for each keyword, and then your quality score will then be the highest it could possibly be. Sorry, Timothy, I missed your last question. You said how to find influencers. There's several different influencer networks out there that you can find them on. Nano influencers, you kind of have to reach out to individually. They're not usually on the influencer networks, but micro and macro influencers are typically on platforms like Tapfluence, or there's one called Grin or Tapfluence, but those are a couple different platforms you could look at. So another thing that I had mentioned was your ad strength. You want to make sure that you have the best ad strength and optimization scores, so you can get a preview of your ad while you're creating it and make sure you have an excellent ad strength before you make it go live. So when you do all these things and you set up your campaigns properly, and again, this is why SEO is really important with those landing pages, you can show up higher than everyone else. So your search impression share means how many of the times are you showing up on the top of the page over these competitors. This is someone we're running campaigns for. They're showing up higher than Blue Nile, Rare Carat, Brilliant Earth, James Allen, and IDC. So taking up the majority of the search impression share, that's what you want to do. And we're probably spending a lot less than them, to be honest. So the other segment or part of paid advertising would be on Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram. Instagram's getting most of the engagement with engagement rings, and so that's where we're spending most of our effort right now. But when you do paid ads, the Facebook ads will go wherever it's going to get the most engagement. So it'll go either on Facebook or it'll go on Instagram. It's that Meta network essentially. A couple different ad types would be carousel ads. Those are typically going to show like multiple images or multiple products. We use them typically for products. Sponsored stories could be powerful. We use those all the time as well. And then promoting posts that get a lot of engagement. I think that's way to grow your account more. So if you posted something that's just getting, a lot more engagement than your other posts, boost it more so you can get more visibility, and then you'll get more engagement as well. And then dynamic ads, again, something that I'm going to talk a little bit more about related to marketing automation, but basically retargeting. So if somebody clicks on your website from an ad and they click on a product, they'll keep seeing those products show up on Facebook and Instagram as well. So marketing automation, again, this is all about using the internet to nurture your customers through automation. And the first step would be using targeted paid advertising campaigns that continuously optimize for conversions via dynamic ads and lookalikes. And so what we typically do is we drive quality traffic with search engines because it converts better. And then when somebody goes to the website, there's a tracking pixel from Google, there's a tracking pixel on from Facebook. And when they go to different websites on the Google Display Network, which is 1 million different websites, they'll see those same products show up on those websites. And then if they log into Facebook or Instagram, they'll see those same products show up there as well. And so that's how you can nurture that customer till they're ready to purchase. And ultimately, we'll use that same list of website visitors that would be considered a custom audience in Facebook, and we'll create a lookalike audience. So that's a algorithm from Facebook that finds people with similar shopping patterns or buying patterns as those that were in that initial website visitor list. And then as it goes, more people come to your website, more people keep getting added to your lookalike audience, then it snowballs over time, and then it just in an automated way, your ads just keep performing better and better because it keeps finding more and more relevant people. Campaigns continuously optimize for the best performance because Google will optimize for finding those conversions that are important to you, meaning that conversion could be an appointment, it could be a purchase, it could be a form submission, a phone call. We would want to determine that based on what makes most sense for you to sell more engagement rings. So other parts of marketing automation would be, sending out reminders for customers that abandon their carts, and other types of email automation, even sending SMS messages potentially, which we could talk a little bit more about. But there's a lot of benefits to marketing automation. It's being efficient, marketing and sales alignment, increasing your conversion rate, accurate reporting. It's really a personalized marketing strategy for the people that are actually visiting on your website. It's pretty scalable, and you can, again, it's all about lead nurturing. So the way that we set up marketing automation, like I said, Google search, shopping campaigns, dynamic ads, lookalike audiences. We also typically use social engagers, people that are actively engaging with your social media. We create lookalikes from all these different lists. You can also target your email list and create a lookalike audience with that email list as well. So you can load in an email list if you segment it properly of people that purchase an engagement ring from you. Load that into Facebook and create a lookalike audience with that. Excuse me. And then you also want to incorporate email automation and then SMS automation, potentially chat bots. This is how you set up yourself for success, where you're going to continue scaling your business over time. Abandoned carts are a big part of email automation, but there's a lot more to it. But abandoned carts just means if somebody clicks or goes to the checkout on your website, they don't finish their checkout, then you can send them out emails to remind them to finish their checkout. If you've ever shopped online and you didn't finish your purchase, the same thing's happening to you most likely. So you want to set yourself up to be like the big players, just like Blue Nile and Brilliant Earth, because people are accustomed to shopping like that nowadays. Klaviyo is a great email automation platform if you're looking for how do I even do this. Klaviyo is a great one. It integrates with multiple platforms, and it integrates with Shopify really well. And so what you can do is once somebody is in your email list, you can send them out emails specific to how they're interacting on your website. If somebody has put an item in their cart in the last month, at least once, you can send them out an email. If someone has viewed a product once in the last 90 days, or someone has not been active, or they have been active, whatever you want to choose. There's all these different ways that you can send out automations based on how people are engaging on your website. So super powerful. But what I wanted to talk about to kind of wrap this up was inbound marketing. Inbound marketing is really how you attract customers to your business, to your website, and then nurture them over the course of their buyer's journey. And it incorporates, email, blog, your web pages, everything all together to make sure that you're getting as much inbound traffic as possible. And the one thing that you have to consider when you're doing digital marketing, and especially again, the inbound marketing strategy kind of helps you determine how to do your marketing. So you got to think about where people are at the different stages of their buyer's journey. So there's the awareness stage. That means the buyer realizes they have a problem. Or the consideration stage, the buyer defines their problem or opportunity and researches options to solve it. And then the decision stage, the buyer chooses a solution. So we need to make sure that we're aware and conscious of that when we're building out our marketing strategy. And a couple ways that we can do that, I'll kind of show you here in just a minute. Another way, this is related to more of content, is when somebody's at the awareness stage, they're gonna be what you call top of the funnel. And so you want to create top of the funnel content for that awareness stage of their buyer's journey. Then there's middle of the funnel content. You want to create content specific to people that are at that consideration stage, and then bottom of the funnel content, people that are at that decision stage. And then you can do more customer development after they purchase and make them a brand evangelist, so they make sure that they do that kind of user generated content and stuff like that. There's a lot more to inbound marketing, but we don't need to talk about everything today. So, but a couple things to consider and how this applies to a jewelry store. 90% of shoppers are not ready to purchase, and engagement ring shoppers have a lot of questions. And the engagement ring buying cycle, like I said, is 3.5 months. That's why it's important to nurture prospective buyers over the course of that buyer's journey. So if you can get those people into your funnel before your competitors do, because we did see earlier on that engagement ring shoppers are going to 2 to 5 different jewelry stores before they make a purchase. So, but if you can get them earlier on where they don't have to go shop around, then you're going to have a lot better chance. You're going to have a lot higher conversion rate than a lot of your competitors will. So one way that we do this is through attract them with some kind of a lead magnet. One thing that we've created, and you can do the same thing, is create an ebook, a downloadable piece of content in exchange for their subscription to your email list. And you can do SMS too if you want to take it a step further. But you can create automated email nurturing campaigns related to that piece of content they downloaded. And I'll show you an example of kind of something that I wrote just to give you an idea, food for thought. And then in that content in that email nurturing campaign should be helpful at each stage of the buyer's journey. I'm going to jump out of this presentation and show you an example real quick. So these are a couple of emails I wrote. I can be happy to share this with you if you like. Again, I'll put my contact info in the end. You can just email me if you like a copy of this. But email number one, hi Trevor, here's a direct link to download the ebook you requested, and then you would give them a link. So ultimately, you'd have a landing page, they download the ebook, and then you're going to start this email journey. Don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any questions. Good luck in your search. So you typically, in the early stage of their buyer's journey, you don't want to be too pushy. You don't want to give them too much information. You're just giving them that ebook that they requested. And then you can wait a few days and send them out a second email. And this one says, thank you for downloading our ebook in the subject. Congrats. It always makes me excited when I hear about another happy couple. I wanted to thank you for downloading our ebook. I hope it was helpful for you. I know shopping for an engagement ring can be a long process. And ultimately what I'm doing here is sharing some blogs. In the meantime, I wanted to share a couple of blogs we recently wrote that may be helpful to you. Choosing the right center stone for your engagement ring. Trending engagement ring styles from classic to modern. And then in the email signature, I have a name, a photo, our website, a phone number, and then a link to book an appointment. So in this text, I did say, don't hesitate to reach out. Feel free to book a meeting via the link in my signature. We're happy to meet. And I'm not pushing for the appointment yet, again, because they're still, in the earlier stages of their buyer's journey at this process when they're downloading an ebook. So you want to kind of give some time before you start, um, looking for the sale. So um, next email, wait another 10 days. Hey, Trevor, how's the engagement ring hunt going for you? I wanted to share this new collection we made on our website with the engagement ring top sellers at our store over the past month or two. Lately, there's been an increased interest in vintage styles, and surprisingly, yellow gold has been making a comeback. So I'm sending them a link to a collection on our website so they could start engaging with our website more and see that we're a viable option for them to purchase an engagement ring. So just giving them kind of little tidbits of information to help them along at different stages of their buyer's journey. The next email will be 15 days later. Again, engagement ring buying cycle takes a little while, so we're not trying to be pushy with it. And if they wanted to schedule an appointment, they have that meeting link. So the next email says, I wanted to check in to see how you're doing with your engagement ring shopping. Can I answer any questions for you now? I wanted to share a couple links that would be helpful to you at this point in your shopping journey. Proposal ideas, proposal stories from happy, I just called my jewelry store Engage, happy engaged customers. And did you know we had flexible financing options, question mark, for all types of credit and financial situations? Feel free to book a meeting with me to guide you on the right ring to purchase. There's no cost or obligation. Here's my availability. So again, helpful information, not being too pushy, but as you go, you start sharing like testimonials, and then at the end you can give them a coupon, or if they haven't responded to you. So what you can do with email automation is they can move into a different bucket if they haven't responded, and then you can send them out another path that says, I haven't heard back from you, or still looking, and then finally, assume you're no longer interested, I'll remove you from my follow-up list. But a lot of times people will respond if it's from an individual that looks like this is a real person. Obviously, it should come from a real person. But so if you want a copy of this, I'd be happy to give it to you. I just kind of wrote this up real quick just to give you an example of how inbound marketing works and how you can create emails that help guide people in their buyer's journey. You also, again, you want to make sure you create content that can help your ideal customers. Also, again, recommend writing blogs. Businesses that blog get 67% more leads on average than those who do not. So 47% of buyers viewed 3 to 5 pieces of content before engaging with a sales rep. So again, proves why I'm looking to give them helpful information. Blog can really be evergreen content, so that can help you with valuable information for forever, really. Blogs will help you with your search engine visibility naturally too, through some of the tactics that I talked about before. So just to summarize, engagement ring sales are down industry-wide since COVID. It's really important to double down on the effort, which will position you well now and even more when there's a rebound. So really, I think that following these types of things are going to really be helpful to jewelers if they start incorporating things like marketing automation, inbound marketing, shopping campaigns, things that jewelers aren't typically doing today when we do a consultation for someone. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat or in the Q&A. Be happy to answer them for you. Also, just putting my contact info up here on the screen in case you wanted a copy of the slides, or if you wanted a copy of that email content. My email is Anthony, ANTHONY, @gemfind.com. And you can reach me at that number you see on the screen as well. If you have questions, feel free to reach out anytime, but feel free to write them in. I'm seeing, I think I did answer how to find them to hire. Yep, okay. Any other questions, feel free to type them in the Q&A field or on the chat, either one that's easier for you. Here. Thanks for the questions so far. Doesn't look like there's any questions, so give it about another minute. No, we went through a lot of information today, but again, I'd be happy to share slides. I will most likely share the recording. Sarah and our team typically will send it to you after the webinar if you'd like it. But again, I'm also happy to share the slides or the email copy. All right, doesn't look like there's any more questions, but I really appreciate your time today and always taking time out of your day to kind of hear about ways to use digital marketing and improve your business. You can reach out to me anytime if you have questions or you just want a consultation or just to chat. Be happy to chat anytime. We'll be at JCK Show as well in the Edge Village with all the Edge partners in there. So feel free to stop by and see us there as well. Thank you guys so much for your time and have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.